If you're a fan of really big folding knives, you're not going to want to miss this episode. David C. Anderson here, coming at you from the Knife Center, and I've got the coolest new knives that have just hit our shelves right here on the table in front of me, including some big ones and some smaller ones too. But let's check them out. All right, we're starting off big. Go big or go home, right? This is the North Mountain Blade Lucky Dog Kickstop Flipper, and this thing is a beast. $150, you've got a 4-inch blade, big striking clip point with an SLD Magic blade. What that is a core steel of a high carbon non-stainless tool steel with some stainless layers on the outside. And then the handle, big, chunky, and grippy. This thing feels purpose-built for heavy work, whether it's tactical or outdoor or just whatever you want a big honking knife for, this could really do it. Let me get into some of the more particulars, however. We'll come back to that handle, actually. Back to the blade. You do have that core steel, that's that triple laminated or Sanmai or Sanmei style of blade construction. They are calling it on the website, and North Mountain calls it a Hamon finish, but I should be clear, they're using that word Hamon to refer to the finish itself, not the actual like Hamon style heat treat effect that goes on. Essentially, you've got that core steel, so you see the transition between the two layers. On top of that, they've bead blasted the entire blade and then come back in and polished the edge and the shoulders right behind it, giving it sort of a Hamon style of look. That's what is going on right here. It is visually striking. It is very cool. The blade itself is thick. I mean, that is a little bit more, that's got to be approaching 5/32 of an inch right there. Let me see if we have the thickness listed. 0.17, yeah. 0.1875 is 5/32 of an inch. Micrometers are doing their job today. But it's tall and has a full flat grind. So you've got, the strength of a thick spine there, but you still have, a decent cutting geometry overall, thanks to the other dimensions going on. The handle here actually reminds me a bit in the outline of some of those old Maxpedition fixed blades that were available for a little while. May still be available, in fact, I'm not sure. But girth-wise, it is something completely different. No pocket clip here to mess up the ergonomics, so you're not going to be able to clip it to your pocket. But with the thickness and the design, this is one of the more comfortable folding knives on the market. It fills the hand. It feels so, so nice as well. And then it's got a trick up its sleeve with the Lee Williams Kickstop design. You can see the Lee Williams logo there on the back of the blade, of course. The flipper tab is actually a separate piece of steel. When it is in the closed position, it sticks out like a normal flipper tab. When it is open, it kind of tucks out of the way. So you don't have it sticking down to get in the way, although you do have a finger guard here to keep your digits protected. Good on any sort of like tactically inclined knife. Inset liner lock there for stability, and it is a fairly thick looking piece of steel for the security. Ball bearings in the pivot as well. This thing is just oh so cool. You do get that little bit of rattle on the close because of the kickstop tab doing its thing, but this is unlike anything else out there right now, and for that reason, it definitely deserves to be the first thing on this video and shows that big knives still have it going on. I like it. I like it a lot. Next up, we have from Kershaw, the Pack Mule is arrived. This didn't quite make it onto our video last week of the new Kershaw stuff because we hadn't gotten it in stock yet. This was kind of delayed from the rest of the batch. Now it is here. What we have is the first USA-made Kershaw fixed blade in some time. It's coming in about $175, and it's not too big, it's not too small, it's just kind of a general all-rounder type of design. Blade is 3.9 inches, N690 stainless here in this case. Full flat grind on that. Thickness there, it looks a little bit more than 1/8 of an inch, but not quite 5/32 there. So again, pretty stable. Full flat grind though, kind of similar story as we talked about on the North Mountain there. So decent cutting geometry overall with the strength of that full thickness spine, of course. The handles are bolt-on G10, and the size puts it in, well, for me anyway, with my slightly larger than average hands, it puts it in sort of an in-between state. If you've got, you know, average or medium or smaller size hands, this could be your, you know, your full stop, do anything, you know, belt knife of this size for heading into the outdoors. It could also be a decent everyday carry if you find a way to carry it nicely, because it's not, you know, too bulky. For like a big bushcrafting knife that I want to be like spending hours cutting on, the handles here are a little bit thin or a little bit small for my hands. But again, great hunting knife, decent right-sized survival knife for something that you will actually have on your belt if you get into a survival situation. It's not too heavy or bulky that you're not going to want to carry it. Camp food prep, I mean, yeah, all around camp sort of thing. This should work really well. It does have a fairly crisp spine. You could strike a fire steel with that quite nicely. You've got a little bit of a finger guard there to keep you from sliding forward, but not so much that it gets in the way of like choking up like so for precision control under carving like that. It's a very well thought out design, I would say. Comes with a Kydex sheath right here with a drop strap right here, extra retention from the snap loop. And this whole part of it can come off, leaving the rest of the sheath intact, which will allow you to put a tech lock on there if you want. And if you want to carry this on the left side with the edge facing behind you, you will need something different. This is not an ambidextrous sheath or strap mechanism right here. Mechanism is the wrong word, but you know what I mean. Check it out. That be the Pack Mule. Next up, more big folders. Classic hard use Spyderco knife, the Spyderco Shaman. 3.6 inch blade. This is a what is known as a distributor exclusive. So rather than, you know, KnifeCenter getting Spyderco to build an exclusive for us, this is one of the distributors for Spyderco commissioned this exclusive. So this is why you'll see this in a few different places. But quantities are, you know, fairly limited. Less than 1,000 of these were made. And you've got M390 blade steel with a black DLC coating and this really cool orange micarta for the handles. Really nice, and that's gonna, especially as it gets used and worn in over time, it's gonna take on some really, really cool colors, and that orange should get even deeper than what you're seeing right here in front of me. 4-position pocket clip, ambidextrous opening, thanks to the blade cutout, typical Spyderco fashion right there. Slightly thicker blade, almost a full flat grind. Again, like this is what most people think of when they think of like the hardest use Spyderco folder. And we got the compression lock, of course. Gives you that finger safe closing action. I will say with the DLC coating, sometimes these need a little bit more breaking in, but we had another one we were you know, filming for the social media channels there that was flicking closed really nicely. So don't let this little bit of friction there worry you one bit. Plenty of length for me in the standard hold, but you've also got the guarded finger choil there for getting up closer behind the edge while still offering protection from the edge. There you go, check it out. About $297 for this distributor exclusive. If you want a hard use folder but don't have that kind of money, the Evolution Ironclad from Real Steel and designer Carson Huang could be a nice option for you. $64 here, 3.8 inch blade, a D2 Tonto construction going on right here. And a few things lead or kind of reinforce the idea of this as a harder use folder. For one, like the Shaman, it has washers in the pivot as opposed to ball bearings, so it's a little more stable, a little less susceptible to grit when things get dirty. It's also got a frame lock, a very secure locking mechanism, but it also has a button actuator for the frame lock. So you can use it just like any other frame lock right there, or you can push the button to operate that lock bar right there, which is a pretty cool thing. It's also got a secondary safety that'll prevent that button lock from being pressed while it is in the open position, and in fact will prevent the frame lock bar from being moved at all. So you've got locks on locks basically right here, giving you extra protection, extra strength for harder use. It's also got the benefit of finger safe closing action, as we saw right there, and wrist flicking. I say that. This one might need a little bit of breaking in as well, but you've got that finger safe closing action, which is always a nice thing. Your fingers never cross the path of the blade to close it. Glass breaker there at the back overall. pretty compelling when you consider there's a lot of like $50 to $60 to $70 D2 folders on the market that may be as big as this, but don't offer the same kind of locking experience or this type of construction, extra bits and bobs. I think it gives you a good amount for your money right there. You do give up a little bit of edge because of needing to accommodate that button mechanism that pushes the frame lock through. As a result, the trade-off there is you do get that finger choil space, although it's not really, you could kind of call it finger choil. Unguarded, however, but you do have that choke up spot for tighter use. We'll keep the buttons going here for a minute. A new Vosteed, the Psyop 299, which is got a 2.99 inch blade, but it has their top liner lock, which is a button, basically a button actuated compression style lock. The compression lock, of course, is Spyderco's name and something they came up with, but now that it is off patent, other people can, do things that would infringe upon said patent, but they still can't use the term compression lock. But you can see right there the bit of liner that comes out and interfaces with the stop part, the stop pin and the tang of the blade itself, giving that compression style of lockup, is actuated by that button. Gives you that finger safe closing, works for lefties too, even though it is right hand facing. So I'm glad to see that they kept a reversible pocket clip too. Wire pocket clip, fairly deep carry. Really cool colors here. We've got red Norplex Micarta, as well as titanium bolster. Of course, some nice colored accents. Other flavors are available too. But this is overall just a good size and shape for general purpose everyday carry. 3-inch blade, S35 VN drop point with a high, very slicey flat grind. What's not to love? Tell me in the comments, I guess. Basically, it does the job really, really well for all your basic everyday cutting needs. All right, back to a bigger knife, another button lock. This thing is, trying to decide whether this is cooler than the North Mountain blade at the beginning or not. I think these are the two coolest in any case. New releases from Knife Company and CIVIVI and Sencut, the budget and budgetier subsidiaries of Knife Company. But this is the Tighe Down, a Brian Tighe design, and it is an integral button lock flipper. It is pricey. This one's about $476, but there is a lot going on. Blade is M390, it's 4 inches long, compound ground. Both of them are flat in this case, but two different levels going on. There's also a Tanto blade option available right now. The handle itself is just stunningly machined. No surface was left kind of ignored, so to speak. Every bit was considered, every bit has a little bit of detail enhancing the flowing lines of the knife. And it is integral, so it is a single piece of titanium for that handle. Always a very cool thing. We got the button lock. It is very nice. You've got a flipper for your opening action, as in addition to the wrist flick. You've also got the thumb studs right there. The inlay on this one is blue carbon fiber. The pocket clip is pretty cool here too. It is very low profile, as you can see. It's milled, but you don't have like a traditional standoff because it's actually nestling into one of the milled channels in the blade. And you've got a ball bearing there at the end for retention. Pretty cool. Overall, I just think this is just plain gorgeous, quite honestly. Check it out. Also from Knife Company this week, we have the, what's this called? The Ryson, a Sam Tran design. $255 for this one with the stone-washed bronze titanium handles. We've got an M390 blade about 3.4 inches long, harpoon tipped with a hollow grind. And I always love this kind of graphite-like finish on this blade. They call it polished gray. They use that on handles sometimes too, and I just think it looks fantastic. Feels pretty easy to carry. 3.3 inches of blade gives you plenty to work with, but it's not a like an overly huge knife. It carries really nicely. Yeah, nice clean presentation from the front. You've got a single screw here at the back and then the pivot at the front. So very clean, not a lot of extraneous screws. Milled pocket clip on the back. These ball bearings, they don't quite feel like ball bearings. It's interesting. They are indeed bronze washers. Hey, I just made that discovery just now. Still flickable, as you can see, but it's kind of a slicker feeling of smoothness versus like the glassy like smoothness of a ball bearing type of setup. Pretty cool. That should help it work pretty hard when you need it to. There you go. Like it. Next up, we have from CIVIVI, the Amaroq, A-M-A-R-O-Q, a karambit style flipper with a Wharncliffe style blade as opposed to a traditional hawkbill shape. And because of that change, this kind of bridges the gap between, you know, typical self-defense karambit applications. You still have that kind of like downward, forward-facing point, but it also means it's very utilitarian overall. Handles are aluminum. The blade is Nitro V. The price is about 90 bucks. You can get it in this grayed version or a blacked out version. Comes with a gut hook. At least they call it a gut hook. The interesting thing about that, Thomas and I were actually trying to decide what the utility there is. Suppose like zip ties or some other like package type opening stuff. The fin here is going to prevent things from going in there too readily, so it's safe or safer when you actually go to put it in your pocket for one thing, but at the same time it does kind of limit its utility, we think. And your mileage may vary. What do you folks think in the comments would be the best use for that? As far as opening goes, you've got three options here. You've got the flipper tab, you've got the button lock, again giving you that finger safe, sorry, wasn't holding it right, the finger safe closing action. You've also got that fin we just talked about, which gives you that pocket deployment option like an Emerson Wave. So draw it from your pocket, angle it so that that catches the hem of your pocket, and it'll open it as you draw the knife from your pocket. So there's very rapid to access. And finally from Sencut, we have the Vornix. $40 knife with a 3.6 inch blade. It doesn't feel like a huge knife, but it is very full-sized. Big, nice upswept clip point there with a 9CR series stainless steel. Thin blade with a high hollow grind and a very thin and very sharp edge means this thing is going to be a wonderful, wonderful slicer. G10 for the handles. This is the teal green. It says teal green, but it looks more like a forest green to me. Deep carry pocket clip, which is reversible. Liner lock, ball bearings in the pivot, and flipper or thumb stud for actuation. Feels really, really good. Yeah, that's gonna be a really cool slicer. It's hard to go wrong with pretty much any Sencut out there. The value they offer is tremendous. The fit and finish is very good as well. So that's not all that's new from CIVIVI and Sencut, but those are the new models essentially. We've got new versions of the Navo, that O-stop hell design. New button lock Tonto blade brazen with Damascus steel, also available. Yeah, you can go check those out. Did we, actually, I'm having second thoughts. Did we ever show the Navo on the channel, or do I just remember that from one of the show coverages we did? I feel like we have seen the Navo.
Just because I've edited every video doesn't mean I remember them all.
Well, now I'm thinking, was the Navo originally a WE Knife Company design, and now, haha, I did. The O-stop held Navo is still available as a premium WE Knife model, but now there are budget CIVIVI versions available. Maybe we'll have to show that next week. Sorry, my mistake. Anyway, those are also available. Check out the links below to take you to the CIVIVI page, of course. Next up, two new Benchmades launched earlier this week, two new versions of the Taggedout. Should be a very familiar knife to Benchmade fans at this point. 210 bucks for these. You've got the injection molded handles, very lightweight. You've got the 3.5 inch clip point blade with thin geometry and high flat grinds, very, very slicey. What's different about these, however? First, Elmax steel. Well, apart from colors being different, of course. Elmax steel is available on these, giving you a new dimension of premium performance. Very cool to see. We're starting to see a bit more Elmax from some folks. Benchmade as well. The new version of the PSK had that. Obviously with Crucible's bankruptcy earlier this year, supply chains may have been impacted a little bit, so they may have made their steel selections as a result of that, since you know, this is not a Crucible steel right here. Still very high performance stuff, however. Should hold an edge very well. It's very stainless. It's not quite as tough as something like MagnaCut, but it is a very nice option. 2.1 ounces is the weight on these as well. I mean, this is a lot of knife for very little weight penalty in your pocket. Also, price-wise, this represents a fairly short jump up from the standard version, which is orange handles, CPM 154 blade without a coating for $200. So in a way, that kind of puts the Elmax in the same price category as CPM 154, because we usually see about a $10 upcharge for coatings from Benchmade, and it's a Cerakote coating, I should mention as well. But Elmax should hold an edge longer than your CPM 154, so that's a nice thing too. Next up, I didn't even talk about the axis lock on the Benchmade, but it has the axis lock. This knife here as well has a crossbar lock, just like the axis. This is the Mako 2 from Skallywag Tactical. Price on this is $125. And Thomas was kind enough to survey the table in front to see if he could pick out the reverse Tontos on the table today.
There it is.
I see you're wearing your Team Reverse Tonto t-shirt. The logo got even bigger somehow. I don't know how that happened.
Bigger font.
So this is more of a clip point than a reverse Tonto. And the website tends to agree with me in this case. What do we have? We have a 3.5-inch blade. N690 is the steel, just like that Kershaw at the beginning. And like the North Mountain at the beginning, we've got a very comfortable handle here as well. Not quite as comfortable, I would say, because it's got more of an open back, but there's a decent amount of thickness and a really nice contour going on the G10. You can get it in this green or kind of a desert tan right now. Feels pretty nice. The crossbar lock gives you fully ambidextrous use and finger safe closing action. You've got full reversibility with the pocket clip right there. You can see it is pretty deep carry, and it is nestled into the scales itself with flush head screws and a blackout plate on the front side to keep the level fairly flush. Yeah, feels pretty decent overall. Actually, I'd say more than decent. Feels quite solid. There you go. What should we use this for? Everyday carry, maybe some tactical, I would say. Doesn't feel too much like a hunting or an outdoor knife. You could certainly, if you wanted to, but it maybe feels less intended for that, we'll say. All right, next up, we have a couple more real steels to show. These are both Ostap Hell designed fixed blades. First off, we have the Dex, this model with the handles right here. A few different versions of this are available at $152. We've got an M390 blade, drop point, just over 3 inches long. And this one has the marbled carbon fiber. That's, I guess that's a little more, it feels a little more shreddy than marbled. So we'll say shred carbon fiber. That combination there with the white G10 gives us a real nice kind of like tuxedo style vibe. And I could see this being kind of a gentlemanly everyday carry fixed blade. Maybe I'm stretching a little bit, but hey, go with it. Why not? We've got a lanyard attachment point there at the back, very generous if you want to attach a fob or any bead or anything to the back. The drop point feels very versatile. We've got a crowned spine going all the way around. Makes it again feel classy and nice and comfortable when you're choking up on the blade. Nice deft drop point profile. Fills the hand well enough. Again, this is not meant to be like an everyday bushcrafter, but plenty there for most passing everyday cutting, I would say. The sheath here is black leather, again, keeping things nice and classy, and easy on and off of the belt thanks to the clip right here. It just has a retention point, no kind of J-hook, so I wouldn't be like woods tromping with a sheath like this, but for the intended use, which again feels like gentlemanly everyday carry, I think it definitely fits the mission in that case. Pretty cool little knife.
An inside jacket pocket.
I suppose so. It feels like it would have the edge facing inward when you if you drew it that way, right-handed, or if you had it this way. I guess it would work better for left-hand inside jacket pocket carry.
For southpaws.
There you go. You're welcome.
Exclusive left-handed knife. Welcome.
Next stop from Ostap and Real Steel, we have the Marlin. They say survival fixed blade. Several colors are available. I went with the caramel colored, caramel flavored one right here. This is actually really nicely priced for what you're getting here. The steel here is 8CR, which I know, some of the steel snobs are already going to write it off the list, but that is a very dependable steel, especially when you consider this knife with the sheath and attachment hardware is only $24. So it's pretty nice. Blade is about 2.5 inches long. Several colors I mentioned are available. Thickness there, not quite an 1/8 of an inch. What are we doing? 0.12. Yeah, 1/8 is 125. I'm on a roll today with my micrometers. Someone must have calibrated them for me before we started filming today. I like that. I don't know. I'm having fun. The grip is about a 3.5 finger grip for me, especially considering this is an unguarded edge here at the back, so you're not going to want to be getting like too stabby and aggressive with it. You could use this as, when we talk about survival knives, everyone wants to talk about lashing their knife to a stick to make a spear, and while it's not always the most advisable scenario or the advisable course of action, you could certainly do that with the holes here and with the general design. But this is an excellent option if you're looking for a neck knife. You've got 2 holes here to run your cord through. It actually comes with a breakaway ball chain, but the 2 holes there are going to keep it from twisting too bad on you. It also comes with, just get right here, a pocket clip. So it's another pocket fixed blade, which always makes me very, very happy. What else? 1.83 ounces with the sheath, so it's next to nothing and quite strong. Ceramic coating is what the coating is. There you go. I should have picked a brighter color so it stood out from the wood of the table, I guess.
And the wall behind you.
And the wall behind. Oh man, is that really? This is the most subtle version of it. There is also a bright blue, a bright green, a bright pink, and a bright orange. There's also a satin blade version that comes pre-paracord wrapped. That's a few dollars more. And that one's not strictly new. We've had that one already, so there you go. All right, let us transition to titanium for most of the rest of the video. We have the new larger Rockwal flippers from Tactile Knife Company now with the skeletonized handle. And that really brings the weight down significantly. This is a 3.4 inch MagnaCut blade. The weight is 2.45 ounces with, they didn't need to resort to an injection molded material to get the handle or the overall weight to something low like that. US made, $349. The blade with its drop point and full flat grind is very slicey because it is very thin, as you can see. A little bit of a decorative swedge there. Stone-washed finish, so scratches from use kind of blend into the finish, which is always a nice thing. Right side deep carry clip. A couple of the holes in the handle are blocked out because of the liner lock right there, but hey, I guess that's the price you have to pay. Inset liner lock. Overall, this is definitely verging on like BIGiDESIGN knife territory because you get a lot of blade, but a very thin, very lightweight thing in your pocket. And yet there's plenty to grab onto when you need a full 4-fingered grip. Flips really, really nicely too. Check it out. Next from Microtech, we have some Marfione Select versions of the Amphibian and the MSI to show you. Full titanium handles on these, which is very, very cool. The MSI, of course, has about a 3.9 inch sheep's foot blade with M390 MK steel. They're a highly precise mix of M390 that was originally developed for Microtech. And it comes with the ram lock, which is this monolithic block of steel. You operate it much like a crossbar lock, but it has a coil spring pushing forward on that lock bar instead of like 2 Omega springs on the outside. So it's kind of a cross, or in a way, it's kind of more like Spyderco's ball bearing lock, except instead of a ball bearing, you got this big ram lock instead right there. A little bit of accenting color on the back spacer. We've got a frag pattern faux inlay on this, but there's smooth versions available, just like you see on this Amphibian right here. Stonewashed finish on both of these as well. We're about $501. Why 501? Why not 499? You can't answer that question for me.
No, I have a tax form in my head now.
The Amphibian, again, about a 3.9-inch blade here as well, $501. Partially serrated here. We've got full serrated and some plain edge options. Some of the plain edge options may have sold out at this point, I'm not sure, but yeah, some of each are available. It's so cool that the Amphibian is like back to being more widely available these days, because for a while these were extremely hard to find. It's very satisfying as well. Definitely check these out. The recurve on this blade style, especially when you combine it with the serrations back there, phenomenal at ripping through fibrous stuff like rope. Just would eat that sort of thing for lunch and not even burp. There you go. Check those out. They're very, very cool. And we get a lot of new Microtech in all the time. That may be like newer and different colors from stuff we've shown before, so they don't always make it onto these new items videos, but I just want to call that out since we do have some that are on the video this week, including the Santoku from Microtech. This is part of their kitchen collection. You've got a big, broad 6-inch blade, kind of a hybrid Santoku style blade, $260, M390 MK. The geometry of the blade is spot on. It's very thin, full flat grind panel. It has got very efficient slicing in mind, and even has a nice soft landing on the cutting board too. It doesn't clunk down, which is a nice thing. Handles, you've got G10 and titanium bolsters and a pinch grip here with the scallops at the front. We'll say it's a little handle heavy, so you might want to grip a little further back, like honestly, like right where that first bolt is, feels more balanced. So you're a little further away than I would personally like, but the style of this thing is certainly quite awesome. Removable handles there too, so easy to keep clean if something does get in underneath those. The kitchen stuff has been coming and going really quickly. We've had like the boning knives come in and go. We still have some steak knives in stock as well though, so you could check those out.
They're just fast food knives.
Yeah, so these are the bolstered versions. Of course, there are some non-bolstered versions with just G10 and some smaller sizes. Still waiting for those to come back in stock before I can show you fine folks. Next up, a few more titanium from North Mountain Blade. Starting the video with North Mountain and winding it down the same. We have two models, same handle, different blade shape. We have Sun and we have Moon. Not the Sun and the Moon, just Sun and Moon. Keep that in mind. Really cool small knives, 2.5-inch M390 blades, and tons of different handles on each. Each of these has the same handle options, but you have simple titanium with a slot. There's a few different milling patterns. There's a few different inlays also available on each. Price on them, I believe they're all, I was about to say they're all sitting at $200. They start at about $180 for kind of the more plain handled versions right here. The blade finish is very cool. You've got that horizontal grain that gives it a more custom type of vibe to it. You've got a frame lock, you've got a milled clip. You have a lanyard attachment point here at the back, although clearance is pretty limited. You're not gonna be able to fit paracord through there, of course. And for opening, it's not a front flipper. Even though it says front flipper, that's a top flipper. I'll do top flippers. Will I? Yeah, there we go. I'm giving front flippers a hard time because for me and my hand sizes, I've still never just gotten super proficient at them. Top flippers, even though we don't make a distinction on the website where it's more on top as opposed to out front, work a little bit better for me. But in this case, I think the small size of the knife compared to my hand size is what's holding me back a little bit. Ball bearings in the pivot, action should be fine as long as you're happy with a front flipper type of thing. But you've got that modified sheepsfoot style blade as well as the drop point option right here. Super classy feeling. These could make an awesome, awesome gentleman's knife.
Put one in front of the other.
Oh, are we talking Eclipse now?
There you go.
So this is Sun, so that's gotta go behind it. Don't look directly at it. Don't do it. Don't look directly. Oh, we just ruined our camera. And
oh darn, we get to buy a new camera.
Maybe we're using it right now.
We got that new lens smell.
Oh my goodness. Oh gosh, I hope not. Few things, or a few more titanium items now. From BIGiDESIGN, we have a new pen. This is the NotoriousEDC Jot and Pop collaboration with NotoriousEDC. It is a twisty pen. Whoop, there we go. And it uses, I believe, is this a Parker style cartridge? Let me just confirm real quick. Yep, comes with a Schmidt P900, which is that Parker style. So you've got tons of compatibility if you have a preferred refill of your choice. And it has a bottle opener right there on the end. So kind of following in on the heels a little bit from like the Sancho pen collaboration they did that has toothpick and tweezers in it, that Ben Peterson collab. This collab makes it more than just a pen, gives you a little extra functionality. $120 for this stone-washed titanium finish overall. Nice, tidy dimensions, nice sturdy pocket clip. Could be a really nice everyday carry pen for you right there. And next is strictly not strictly a new item, but it is new to us here at the Knife Center. We've had the Bit Bar Inline screwdriver from them, but now we have the Bit Bar Inline Max as well, which is, for $120, an everyday carry screwdriver. Titanium body here, of course. And instead of standard 1/4-inch bits, this is designed to work with flat bits. It'll work with Leatherman's flat bits and comes with its own proprietary flat bits as well. You can slide it back into the slot right there and use it like an inline screwdriver, even though it is not a big diameter. It's square, so it technically doesn't have a diameter. But even though it's not a big chunky handle, because of the square shape, you can put an okay amount of torque on the bit because of the very nature of that shape. But if you need more, these two holes in the handle allow you to use it in a T handle or L handle configuration, which you can then use to apply a lot of twist to this. And I do mean like you could put a real good amount of force on it. Bits, we have included a 5 and 4 millimeter hex, a handful, what's going on there? Magnetic retention. And then on each side, held in by magnets, there's 2 more double-sided bits. So that's 2, 4, 6, 8, 12, 10. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 different drives on board, held in place magnetically. We've got numbers 0, 1, 2, and 3 Phillips, and 1/4-inch, 7/32, 3/32, and 1/8 flathead. But again, there are Leatherman flat bits that you could swap out if you want something a little bit different. And you access these, a little bit tricky, but you kind of push them towards the middle and it pops out on you right there as it releases from the magnet, and putting them away, super simple as well. Pretty cool unit in my opinion. And last but certainly not least, we have by far the fanciest, most premium feeling mushroom knife I have ever held. This is the Viper Boletus mushroom knife. It's 130 bucks. Comes with that 2 3/4-inch hawkbill blade, nitro B steel, horizontal grained finish there. Really, really nicely finished. Not just on the sides, you've got a polished crowned spine. The handles are Cocobolo and really, really classy feeling. And most mushroom knives have a brush on the end. This tucks it out of the way until you need it. How cool is that? Overall, it just feels super, super nice. Comes with a leather pocket slip, or leather pocket sheath, I should say. It is non-locking, but the detent holding it in place is very, very strong. It takes a pretty concerted effort to start to close that blade. Even the closed position has just this really, really sensual feel to it. I really like it. It's very, very nice. It's very, very nice. Check it out. Actually, I just noticed something. And this is my ignorance betraying me. This out here near the end is not jimping, will function as such, but it's kind of these kind of serrations, but they're not perfectly at a 90 degree to the spine. They're kind of angled a little bit. Is this some kind of scraping application for the mushroomer out there? I don't know. If you have more experience in that genre, let me know in the comments what you think that might be useful for. It's very nice. That's it for today, folks. I was about to say keep your questions coming, but that has to do with our FAQ series that we run every Saturday. Let me know what you thought of these knives down in the comments, and if you want to get your hands on any of them, check out the links in the description to take you to KnifeCenter.com. Or don't forget about our long-running Knife Rewards program or our Sezzle payment options at checkout if you want to break up these more expensive knives into some more manageable payment chunks. I'm David C. Anderson from the Knife Center. That's Thomas behind the camera. We're signing off. See you next time.